Okay, so let's move on to the comprehension part of it. So on the back, we have our first question. Read it for us.
Poseidon is the ruler of.
Very good. And who do you remember Poseidon? He was the Greek god, remember? Found that out in the first paragraph. We also found out who he was the ruler of. Can you find that in that first paragraph? Who does it say he was the ruler of?
The sea, storms, and earth.
Very good. So if you don't mind, just highlight that. The mighty Greek god Poseidon ruled the sea, storms, and earthquakes. And that's exactly how you'll write that. Poseidon is the ruler of, and then just what you found that he was the ruler of. Very good. Okay, so look at number 2. What does it say?
What evidence from the story shows that Poseidon cared greatly for Cleito?
Very good. We need evidence that shows that he cared for Cleito. So where is some evidence that tells us how much he loved and cared for Cleito? Who was Cleito?
The woman that he fell in love with.
Very good. It was the woman he fell in love with. And it's not an evidence for it to say he was charmed, he was enthralled. We need evidence, which means things that he did for her.
He did an island for her?
Very good. He had a fancy mountaintop palace and island built for her, okay? So that's one example, so you might want to, we'll see if we can find some others. He whisked her off to one of his islands. He then had a lavish or fancy mountaintop palace. So he built her a what? Very lavish, very beautiful, very expensive palace, okay? What else did he do besides build her that palace?
He had children, so many children.
There's one more thing right before that. What else did he do? He built her that big palace, and what else?
Creating a nation.
He created an entire nation for her. So there's another piece of evidence to show how much he loved her. Okay, so there's 2 things, and we found both of those in our introduction, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So go back and write. What evidence from the story shows that Poseidon cared greatly for her? Well, what was the first thing? He built her a palace, and then the second thing?
An island.
Very good. Good job. Okay, read number 3.
What did the Atlanteans?
Why?
Why did the Atlanteans believe they were above others?
Okay, why did the Atlanteans believe they were above others? Where did it say? What did it tell us?
They thought that they were better.
But why? The question is asking us, why did they think that? Okay, if I think I'm better than someone, then I think I'm above them. But I would have reasons why I would think that. So what were some of their reasons? Where would that be in our, where do you think that's going to be in our plot?
The rising action.
In the rising action. So it's going to be in this section right in here. Because 2, 3, 4, and 5 were our rising action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 6. So those were all our rising action paragraphs. 7 was our climax, 8 was falling action, and 9 was our conclusion. So looking at rising action section, why do you think they thought they were above each other or above others?
Because they were better and smart and honest.
They were honest. Very good. Okay.
And productive than everyone else.
And they were more productive than everyone else. Very good. What else? You're finding some good reasons.
They don't have sorrow or suffering.
They don't have sorrow or suffering, okay? So they're looking at other people and they're saying, oh, they're sad. Oh, they're suffering. And they weren't. So they felt that way because they treated each other with kindness and there were no fights or crimes or arguments of any kind. And can you see the paragraph that's in? Right here. It says they treated one another with kindness. There were no fights, crimes. Okay? So just write that down right there on number 3. Okay, now, so we're on number 4, and we're still in our rising action section. Number 4, read that for me.
Why did the rest of the world react to the Athens with hostility?
Hostility. Do you know what hostility means? Do you know what hostile means? Okay, if you're hostile, that means, if someone says something, you're like, what? Okay, you're ready to, a hostile person will fight. Okay, they don't think, if someone comes at them, they don't try to talk it out first. They're ready to fight. Okay, so it says, why did the rest of the world react to the Atlanteans with hostility? Why did they do that? Why do you think that they acted with hostility? Now, where are we at now, do you think? Why did they act? Look at our deal. Are we still in the rising action?
No.
We're moving into the what?
Climax.
The climax. Very good, because we're talking about how they fought. So that would be our climax. So let's look in that section. And why do you think that others reacted to them coming around and saying, hey, I'm better than you. Hey, I'm the best. Hey, I'm this. Why do you think the rest of the world acted with hostility towards them then?
The Athens set out and tell the rest of the world the news of their greatness. And then the Athens were not welcome to bringing that knowledge of Paris.
Very good. Yeah. Instead, they were treated as hostile invaders or enemies. Okay. So, yes. Highlight right in there where you found your answer. Very good. So just kind of write in your own words why they were treated hostile, do you think? Why, if someone was telling you that all the time, why would you maybe get tired of it and maybe want to, I don't see you wanting to fight because you're not a hostile person, but if someone was constantly telling you they're better than you, why might that cause people to fight? Good job. Okay, now, number 5. The word lavish means. So, I'm sorry, sweetie. Okay, so read that for us.
The word lavish means.
Lavish means. What do you think it means? A, what's the choice for A?
In love.
B.
Charm.
C.
Luxurious.
Luxurious. Or
D. Kind.
Okay, so lavish. If you didn't know what that meant just by that, you always need to go back. Even if you do think you know what it means, we know in the English language that one word can have several meanings. So it's always better to go back and look how it's being used. Highlight the word and how is it being used? Which paragraph is it in? 1. Okay, so it's in the introduction. The word lavish means, read the sentence it's in.
He then had a lavish or fancy mountain-top platform. palace built especially for clay.
Very good. He then had a lavish or fancy mountaintop palace built for Cleo. So in our, highlight that sentence right there. And there's a context clue that tells you what lavish means. What is it? Do you see it? In that sentence. He then had a lavish or fancy mountain. What do you think it means?
Like
Lavish. And then what comes after that?
fancy.
Okay. So it's telling you he had a lavish or fancy. That means you could use lavish or you could use the word what?
Fancy.
Fancy. Okay. So what's another word for fancy? Because fancy is not one of our choices. So what do you think might be another word for fancy? If something's fancy, it could also be seen as what?
Kind.
Not kind. Yes. What does that say? Luxurious. Luxurious. If something's luxurious, it's like luxury. It's like you get, if something's luxurious, it's just very, very top notch. It's very fancy, in other words. So lavish, luxurious, and fancy are all what? Synonyms? They all mean the same thing. Good job. Number 6.
Who was the island's nation's ruler?
So who was the island's nation's ruler? Which part would that be in? It's either in the, look here. Okay, so as we're going down from our introduction, we're, going through the story, we learn that there's a ruler. He makes someone the ruler. And that's going to be here in our rising action. Who did he make the ruler?
Atlantis.
We'll leave in just a minute. Who?
Atlantis.
Read it again. Atlas. Very good. So highlight that. Who was Atlas?
His older son.
His oldest son. And he made him the ruler, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
The island of Atlas, and in Greek that means Atlantis. So who was the nation's ruler there? Who would you choose? Atlas. Very good. Good job. Okay, and then number 7.
What happened just before Earth cracked open?
Okay, now think about here. Where are we in our plot? Are we in the following action, the climax? Where are we?
Rising action.
Not the rising action,
Falling
the
action.
falling action. Very good. So in our falling action, what happened just before the earth cracked open? So look in the falling action section and look where it talks about the earth cracking open. What happened right before that? Before it.
The clouds, ashes turned dark to sky. Oh wait.
Let's see. And it wants just before that. So would A be a good choice?
Mm-hmm.
Or, let's see, the Atlanteans told the world of their greatness. Clouds of ash and steam darkened the sky. That wasn't before, was it? So go ahead and mark that one out. Atlantis disappeared into the earth. No. So it was either there was an explosion or the Atlanteans told the world of their greatness. What happened right before the earth cracked open? D. Very good. And where'd you find that out?
In paragraph 8.
Good. Okay, read the sentence to me.
An explosion more powerful than any of Earth before or since rocked the island nation.
Very good. And then right after that, the earth cracked open. Very good. So it wanted right before, so the best answer there would be D. Now, did the Atlanteans tell the world of their greatness before the earth cracked open?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yes, they did, but not right before. Okay, that's the key word there, right before. Okay, so number 8. Go ahead and read that one to us.
Atlantis sank into the sea because its citizens had become too
Wealthy. Do you know what wealthy means? Rich. Okay. What's the second one?
selfish.
What does selfish mean?
Like a road.
Yeah, like, I want this. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. It's all mine. Okay, what's next?
Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable. And the last one?
Powerful.
Powerful. So which part are we in here?
The conclusion.
The conclusion. So look in the conclusion. and see if you can find Atlantis sank into the sea because its citizens had become too...
Knowledge. Or powerful?
Look in the conclusion and see if you can see. All of those are pretty good guesses, but there's one that it tells you exactly the answer. Selfish, very good. Read the sentence to us.
Atlas was sunk by its own selfishness.
Very good. The very last sentence, so highlight it and then mark your answer. You did a great job. So we can see the importance of having a plot. We start off with what? Introduction, then
rising action,
then
climax, and falling action, and conclusion.
And did this story go in that? It sure did. Okay, so thank you very much. You did a great job, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll write you a note if you're tardy, okay?